Hey all, this is Val here with another Dungeon Hunter Champions video. In today's video, we're going to be covering Washi, the Water Ink Ninja. Super happy to get him. He's good for Arena, he's good for Guild Wars, he's good for bosses. So I was just really happy to pull him. It was something new, and I've always wanted an Ink Ninja. I think their art is super cool. I like their animations. I mean, and it's just a unique unit, right? A mage who rides a frog and paints to do damage. It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's right up my alley for things that I like. So let's jump right into skills. Now, I did max skill him. I thought that would be a good idea because I do plan on using him, like I said, in Arena and in Guild Wars. So, his first auto attack, which is Brushstroke, hurls ink at an enemy, attacking it from a distance. If the enemy is marked, the ink explodes in a powerful glyph, which deals bonus damage and slows. Damage from this skill ignores 25% of the enemy's defense. So right here, we already know we need accuracy. This is just ultra important because we do want things to be marked. Being slowed is awesome. Doing bonus damage, and this thing ignores 25% of the enemy's defense. You can run him along with Abigail, who gives 25% defense ignore, and you have 50% basically between the two units. And you're just doing a lot of damage. It's a lot of ignore defense is a very OP skill in any game. Gear wise, just based off the first skill, we're kind of open. We just know that we want to land our mark, and so we're looking at accuracy, which tells you precision. No main set because this is an auto attack skill, so adept really isn't going to help you. His first active skill, Tongue Lash, commands the frog to lash out with its tongue, dealing damage and inflicting mortal wounds on all enemies in a line. If an enemy is marked, this also lowers defense, ignores 25% of the enemy's defense. Now, the good thing on this is the lowers defense if unit is marked. That is really good. That's going to help everyone out. And then you have the 25% defense ignore on them already, so you lower their defense, and then you ignore 25% of what's left. Again, if you're running with Abigail, you're ignoring 50% when she has max stats. That's just ridiculously good. And then you have mortal wounds, which actually is going to help you significantly in Arena and in Guild Wars. Looking at this again, you know, we have to have precision. Precision is a must for this guy. So you do want to try to get that all in substats. Based off this skill, you can run Adept, or you could run Mortal. I know Mortal isn't a popular choice for him. A lot of people run that on their BMs, but I think Mortal is usable here. If you choose to go the traditional route with Adept, then you're looking at like Adept Precision because you do want to hit your accuracy goal. For me, you guys know it's 100%. His second active skill, Ink Slash, draws a line of magical ink in the air that detonates after a brief period, damages and marks enemies on the initial stroke, and again when it explodes, ignores 25% of the defense. So here is where your mark comes from, and you want this to land. So again, accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. You can run Adept. This is on a 6-second cooldown, which will lower it a bit. You don't pick up any cooldown reduction in skill bonus as you get damage and duration extension again, which is good because Mark does a lot of fun things with this guy. So you do want them to be marked, but I stand by Adept and Mortal both being valid options. I think either one works. His third active skill, Ink Spirit Calling, brings ink to life, summoning a massive frog spirit to devour enemies, deals damage with an increased crit chance to enemies within an area, and knocks them into the air. This is a guaranteed crit against marked enemies and deals bonus crit damage to those enemies. Ignores 35% of the enemy's defense. Now here is a really good argument for Adept. This is on a 16-second cooldown with Adept. You're going to lower this pretty freaking low. Also, it's guaranteed to crit on a marked enemy, meaning you should focus on crit damage. You can actually ignore crit rate to a certain extent. I mean, you do want his other skills to crit, but the big boy is going to guarantee to crit if they are marked. So you can safely stack crit damage. And if you don't get all your crit rate and substats, it's not a big deal. You can go like 40-50% crit on this guy, and then you can go just crit damage up the wazoo because you're going to bank on this. Now, if you choose to go that route, I actually would recommend not going mortal. Okay, if you're going to go that route, definitely go adept without a doubt. Because if you only get like the 40 or 50% crit, or if you ignore it altogether and just bank on this one critting, really having mortal isn't going to be a big deal, because you want to cycle this ability as fast as you possibly can, and that's going to be adept. So you'd go adept, attack, crit damage, attack, and you'd go accuracy substats with attack. So it'd be accuracy, attack, HP, defense substats for this guy. And then you will do very, very well on that build. Now, if you're going to go mortal because you just want big hits all the time, it's going to be the standard attacker build I've talked about many times before. Attack, crit damage, attack with crit rate, accuracy, attack, and HP or defense substats. And he will do very well on that. The adept build is likely easier because you can completely ignore crit if you so choose and just build straight crit damage, allowing you to go crit damage gloves even if you do not get all your crit rate in substats, because you do have a guaranteed crit. If you're going to go that way, I highly, highly recommend that you get 100% accuracy, period, because you have to have mark lands for this to get your crit. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out on a significant portion of your damage, because your whole build revolves around this ability critting and cycling it as fast as possible. So accuracy is a must if you go that way. Now let's take a look at his gear. Let's see how I went. So I went adept precision because I didn't have the mortal gear, and I went attack, crit rate, attack. Now, I could easily switch these out to crit damage gloves, but if I remember correctly, I don't have crit damage gloves for either of these two sets, so I went with crit rate. I know I don't need it, but I mean, it was the option I had. I am actively looking for crit damage gloves to replace it since I am on adept. Here is the stats for the other gear. If I went too fast, just go ahead and pause the video and come back and take a look at it. Let's look at all my stats here. So we've got 30k HP, we've got 886 defense, 97% crit, we've got 2700 attack, 84% crit damage, and 87% accuracy. Now, I really don't like the accuracy. I really don't like the crit rate. I will be giving up the crit rate to go with more accuracy. So that's going to happen. I am going to go to the build running adept, very low crit rate, and 100% accuracy, and banking on the skill 3 hitting like a truck, right? I just need more crit damage. We're going to get 80% more crit damage when we get our crit damage gloves. I'm going to look for 6-star crit damage gloves, and then I'm going to try to replace out some of this crit rate with crit damage. All right, so that is my build. Now let's take a look at him in SW10. Okay, so the team I'm choosing to go with here, I've got Kiva for strips, we've got Washi for the DPS, we've got Manas for the cooldown reduction, because again, remember, we want to get to that skill 3 and that guaranteed crit. We've got Kai Wenji, of course, to keep us alive, and then we've got good old Kendrick for the attack up buff, which is going to help out pretty much everyone, but mostly Washi, of course, because he's our DPS. So here we go. Let's see how things go. Of course, trash waves were never going to be a problem. And let's kill this boss. Now, granted, this isn't the most efficient team for this, right? So this isn't like the creme de la creme for this. But we're going to try it out. We're going to try it out. Washi appears to be really squishy, and this is because my gear, as you saw, did not have a lot of HP defense substats. I could probably straighten this out a bit more if I were to go and run Camille with this. At least so we avoid the OGD damage, right? It's one less thing. But otherwise, I mean, it's a decent team. We did it in a minute 12. You know, we're not breaking the sound barrier here. Or a minute 13 after all said and done. Let's sell that, and get that. And let's take a look. All right, 402k damage. Not bad. He's got good uptime on everything, so that looks super good. I'm happy with him. I mean, a minute 13 seconds for this team. This is not too bad, especially considering, you know, we have 2 support units in here because my Monas is built slightly supporty. I do believe I do have 1 piece of gear with attack % on it. So, I mean, if we wanted it faster, obviously we would take out the support units and we'd run, instead of Kiva, we would run Rona. But we couldn't run Rona because I ungeared my Rona because she had really great gear and she's not 60 yet. Once she gets 60, and Laundry Day rolls around, I will re-gear her and she'll be my primary stripper. The gear I have on Kiva, I won't de-gear her though because she's on rapid defense set and there's really no one else I have that could use it that's like immediate. So even though I won't be using her once I get my Rona to 60, except for in niche situations, I am going to leave her geared. All right, let's take a look at him in ED11. All right, so this is my team. It can pre-flight. It does it about 70% of the time. It is not 100%, so I don't recommend running this. I have a much more stable team that does not pre-flight that is 100%, but I just wanted to show this team. The biggest, the Achilles heel here is my Casey. Casey is fairly squishy. I don't have any HP or defense substats on her, which does hurt her considerably. But when she lives through the waves, she does get the job done, like there. So that's why it's not 100%, right? Again, I do not recommend this team at all. This is just strictly for this video and just to show you guys, you know, the pre-fight capabilities here. It's definitely not for you to go out and make this, and because I wanted a quicker run to see how Washi would do in it. There is a much slower team that is stable, kind of like what I showed you in SW10. Same kind of thing, and it clears it like a minute 20, a minute 30 roughly. Here is the breakdown. As you can see, he slightly out-damaged our Malika, and you know my Malika is no joke. Of course, Casey took the lead because she has elemental advantage, and of course the boss had elemental advantage against her, but she is definitely no slouch either. So you can see he is in very, very good company, especially being up there with a Blade Master. So that is really, really good. I mean, overall, I like him. His damage is amazing, and remember, this could be even better if I had more crit damage on him and focus more on that 3rd skill as opposed to his other skills. I think he would do even better. I really do. That guaranteed crit every, 14 seconds with Adept would be amazeballs. I really think that would be amazeballs. So let's head back out and we'll take a final look and I'll give you my thoughts on him. Washi is a really, really good unit. I like him. I like the character. I like how different he is from typical gacha characters, right? I mean, he is a mage, kind of reminiscent of Vivi from the Final Fantasy series, who rides a frog and uses painting to do damage. I mean, that's just such a unique concept. I'm a huge fan of it. I'm a huge fan of everything about this guy. He's going to do very well for me once I get him into Arena and Guild Wars. And I'm really happy. If you pull him, 100% build him. Also, max skill him. He is worth it. It's not a bad investment. He takes less than a lot of other Nat 5s at 12 tutors to max skill him, and then you're done and you can enjoy a really fun, great unit. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. You know, if you could, go ahead and hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button. You can hit that bell notification icon so you know when I have new videos available. As always, thank you all for watching, and all you dudes and dudettes out there, stay frosty.